Welcome back, children. So as I was telling you in the last class, that how do various stimuli get received by the receptors and how is it transmitted. Now children, as you know, there are 5 different sense organs which helps us to feel various types of stimuli. How do we feel heat? How do we feel cold? How do we feel pain? How do we smell things? How do we hear things? How do we see? How do we taste? Now in all these sense organs, different types of cells are present. These are called as the receptor cells or simply receptors. For example, think of thermoreceptors. They will sense heat, right? Then tango receptor for touch. Then algae receptor for pain. Then olfactoreceptors for smell. Then gustatoreceptors for taste, right? Heat or cold, this one. Then phonoreceptors for hearing. Then photoreceptors for vision. So many different types of receptors are present in various sense organs. As I said, thermoreceptors for heat or cold, means to sense change in temperature. Tango receptors for touch. Algae receptor for pain. Olfactoreceptor for smell, present in nose. Gustatoreceptor for taste, it is present only in the tongue. Phonoreceptors for hearing, they are present in the inner ear. Photoreceptors, which is present in your eye, for vision. Now, how does the stimulus go to the brain or the spinal cord? Now, these various types of stimuli are received by these receptors, and then it is transmitted through the dendrite to the cytoplasm, right? Through the cytoplasm in the form of electrical impulse. The impulse travels, comes to the end and goes to the terminal branches of the axon. At the end of the terminal branches there are bulbs. These are called as terminal buds. When the impulse reaches the bud, at the bud there is release of a substance, a chemical substance, which is called as acetylcholine, right? So this chemical substance is released. At this, there is a gap there is a gap between the terminal bud of the axon end and the next dendrite of the next neuron. So this gap is called as the synapse. At this synapse, this acetylcholine is released from this terminal bud, and the electrical impulse then moves to the dendrite of the next neuron. In this way, the impulse is carried further and further and further till it reaches the brain or the spinal cord. As the brain or the spinal cord receives the stimulus, it integrates it, and then it sends a reply, that is a message. This message is then passed by a similar manner, at first to the dendrites, then the impulse passes on to the cell body or cyton, and through the cyton it goes to the axon, ultimately it reaches the terminal axon bulbs, and again there is a synapse. There the chemical called acetylcholine gets released, and the nerve impulse passes to the dendrite of the next neuron. In this way, this reply or the message sent by the spinal cord or the brain proceeds further till it reaches an effector organ, which is either a muscle or a gland. And then the effector organ produces a response. Clear? Either the gland will start secreting its substances. If it is a digestive gland, it will secrete digestive enzymes. If it is endocrinal gland, it will start releasing hormone. Clear? Or it may stop releasing hormone, it may stop producing digestive enzyme. If it is a muscle, either the muscle will contract or it will relax, and hence it will bring about a change in the orientation of the body. Clear? So in this way, nerve impulse is carried from the receptor cells to the central nervous system, that is brain or spinal cord, and again a response is created by the effector muscles as it receives the message from the central nervous system to the effector organ. Okay, children? So this is how the functioning of the neuron occur. How messages are sent towards the central nervous system, and how messages are sent back from the central nervous system to the effector organ. Now remember, all these are through electrical impulse. Now these receptors will send electrical impulse only when the stimulus is strong enough. If the stimulus is weak, then the receptor organs will not send the message towards the central nervous system. Clear? So if the stimulus is strong enough, then the receptor cells will gather the stimulus and then it will pass it forward to the central nervous system. But if the stimulus is not strong enough, then the receptor cell will not respond at all. Clear? For weak stimulus, the receptor organ will not forward the stimulus. Okay, children? So in the next part, we will start with the central nervous system, that is the brain and the spinal cord. Thank you.